Hello there everybody. How the devil are we all? I am sensationally well, I thank you for asking. Why is that camera zoomed in like that? That doesn't need to be that close to me, does it? Apologies everyone, I shall sort that out shortly. There we go. Is that a bit better? Hopefully. Hello. How am you? Oh. Also, why is it pointing in the wrong fucking direction? There we go. Hello. Phil Morehouse is a twat, so just don't forget. But true, that is true. I'm not sure the relevance, but yes, that is absolutely correct. How are we all? How are we all? Hopefully we're all doing superbly well this evening. You're ahead of the game, Wayward. You're ahead of the game. As a Wayward Historian, my fantastic, completely unpaid, because I've got no fucking money, personal assistant is showing you the sports channel that I've been talking about, much advertised on this channel, in the, you know, that's, you know, I said I was going to do. I've started it now. In the sense that I've set it up. I haven't actually done anything on it yet. Until tomorrow. The first game we'll be taking a look at will be England versus Andorra. Which again, is not a made-up country, even though it definitely sounds like a made-up country. The magical world of Andorra. To be fair, it is a tiny little magical kingdom in the mountains. The Pyrenees Mountains, to be specific, but yeah. So yes. So yeah, everyone go and follow those. Even if you're not into sport and you will never ever watch me on that show, which is fine, you don't have to do that. Do go and give those a follow on both the YouTube and the Twitch. It's KFL Reacts, because lots of the other names that I wanted to use were already taken, because fuck off Twitch. Who the fuck had KTVFC? Someone already has that name. I don't know who they are, but they can eat my arse. Anyway. So, yeah. So, go and check those out. Give them a little follow. All helps in the algorithm, etc. And I'll be on tomorrow. So, the England game kicks off at 5 PM UK time. Which is what, midday, I suppose, US time. So, I'll probably be on at like 4 UK time to do a bit of preamble and, you know, talk about the channel a little bit, and to you know, preview and all that, and go through the teams. And when I say go through the teams, I mean one team, because I can't tell you anything about the Andorra team. No one can. They're not professional footballers. I couldn't name a single one of them, and that's no offence to them. I assume they know I wouldn't be able to. But, you know, we'll see. Do they play England tonight? No, they play tomorrow. So tomorrow evening. So I'll do that game on the sports channel, and I'll probably pop over here and do like a politics stream afterwards. So it'll be quite a late one, I would think. Will you do combat sports as well? Probably not. Although I do like boxing, certainly. But I don't think I'll be doing combat sports. I will be doing other sports, though. I'm thinking of doing some stuff with the Ashes in the winter, which is England and Australia playing in cricket. And I definitely want to do some basketball when that season kicks off. In what, about 2 months, is it, or something? No curling. Although when the Olympics is on, I will watch some fucking... I'll watch any old shit. I just will. You'll find, like, I get very, very worked up about minor technical details to do with, like, the fucking peloton and shit during the Olympics. Do I want to go bowling in Bearwood with some lefty queers tomorrow, Kev? Thank you, genuinely, thank you for the offer, but no, I do not. I have quite a busy day tomorrow. I've got some stuff to do in the morning/afternoon in IRL, and then I'm streaming basically all afternoon/evening. So genuinely, thank you for the offer, but no, I cannot. What's the channel name? The channel name is KFL Reacts. Yeah. Indeed. So yeah, so I'll be watching, like I said, I'll be doing football. I'll probably do like one game a week, football, and then mix in some other stuff as well. Probably do 2 or 3 streams a week on that. Hopefully that won't eat into what we do here. I mean, it can hardly eat into the quality of the shit I produce here, but hopefully it also doesn't eat into the quantity either. Did you see this? What am I supposed to have seen or not seen? 255.
Unions in.
It's good to see. It's good to see that our old friend, the terrible enchilada, is. I mean, it's good to have it confirmed. A thing I always suspected with this guy. No, that's not the right one. Boom. I always suspected he was a psyop. And so it's good to have that confirmed, that he's definitely psyop territory. Don't join a union. How your union is probably imperialist. Like, fucking end, mate. Just fuck off. Like, there's no other response needed, but like, fuck off, basically. That's literally all I have to say to the guy. What an absolute bell end. You should try Kick, Kevin. No, I really shouldn't. Kick is full of fascists and weirdos who do fucking child porn and stuff. Not a chance. Yeah, everyone join a trade union, for fuck's sake. Don't listen to fucking Bad Enchilada. Or whatever, you know. Did you see Zach Polanski's Volcom song? What is this? Does this stuff like... Look, I am fully hypno-boob pilled, okay? We are pro-hypno-boob on this channel. Facts. Do England play Denmark soon? I don't believe so. No. We're not in the same group as Denmark. In the World Cup qualifiers. Let's have a look who Denmark are playing. Whilst I'm thinking about it. Are they in Scotland's group? They are, well, not only are they in Scotland's group, they are literally playing Scotland right now, and it is half-time 0-0. Live from a venue called Parken. You have a stadium called Parken. Parken. The Parken... yeah, it's just called Parken. Amazing. It is a football stadium in the, oh my god, Indre Ostrobro district of Copenhagen, Denmark. It has a capacity of 38,190, so it's a proper fucking stadium, man. The capacity can't exceeds blah blah blah. Yeah, fair enough. No, good stuff. Anyway, Scotland are currently 0-0 at Parken against the Danish national side. So there you go. I mean, I could just do a second half react to that, I suppose, but I don't think I will. Young Boy Stadium will never not be funny to me. What is it? Is it literally just called Young Boy Stadium? Fuck off. I remember now. Yeah, it's called the Wankdorf Stadium. Which just sounds like honestly, it sounds like a cockney telling you to jerk him off. I want to be wanked off. I want to be wanked off, right? It really is. And it's even weirder that that's the name of the stadium of a team called Young Boys. Which, again, is not... That's like... They're called Young Boys. They're a team from Bern, the capital of Switzerland. I presume it's not as pedophilic as it sounds, but I can't guarantee that that's the case. God almighty. What a strange world we live in. Kev, I'm watching the Scotland game. It's painful to watch. Well, I hope it is, because, like, for Scotland to get a result against a fucking decent Danish team away from home, a 0-0, you take a boring-ass 0-0 draw there. Like, Scotland really need to qualify for a World Cup. It's been far too long now. I know you qualified for the Euros, but, like, come on now. 1998, that's too long. Scotland have had too many good players since then. Not brilliant players, but players better than you know, than their results would show. And now that McTominay's fucked off to Italy, he looks like a worldie. Now he's gotten out of the hellscape that is Manchester United, and he isn't playing alongside Fred. I mean, literally, he's called Fred, for fuck's sake. Anyway, literally the only Brazilian that can't pass a football, apparently. Yeah, he looks amazing. And so, with him and Andy Robertson, like, you've got to do something there. For the love of God. Anyway, you get the idea. Anyway, we're not doing football tonight. We're doing football tomorrow. Right. So yes, join me on the various places. Which Wayward Historian, if she's so kind, will post intermittently throughout the show, and I will try and remember to shill them. Him and Billy Gilmore as well. Yeah, another good player. Yeah, they do have some good players. It's sort of a shame that Robertson is a fullback in many respects. Like, having your best player be a fullback.
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
Gattuso knows what's up. Yeah, it's not really the position you really want your best player, you know? It's not as effective as any other position on the field, basically. Yeah. What was I going to say? Yeah, it's similar with Ukraine. With Zinchenko, when you've got your best player as a fullback, again, it just... I mean, I know he's transitioned into trying to be a midfielder. He isn't. He's a fullback. Yeah. Are people bumming swans? Yes. Parken is called a park when translated. Well, no, I guessed that much. Like, I don't speak Danish, but I guessed that Parken meant park. Yes, no, I got that. Just like when I see, like, Westfalenstadion in German, I assume that Stadion means stadium. They're quite... That's the good thing about the Indo-European language groupings. There's a lot of similarities. Hey, Dylan Burns motherfucking TV, how are you? It's been too long, friend. I hope you're well. What brings you to my part of town? Found the boomer in French is boomer. Is that true? Oh. Well, that's... Actually, there's a thing with a lot of kind of classicist French dickheads, the kind of Académie Française briefcase wankers. They're really annoyed that a lot of modern French terminology comes from English, or more specifically from America, really, because that's, you know, culturally where it's at. All of the movies are American and so on, you know. The sort of Coca-Colification of European culture. So things like un people, which means celebrities, they get some French people very hot under the collar. Oh, I can't be dealing with them. Which makes me smile, because fuck them. Like, what the fuck? You speak a tongue that most quote-unquote French people didn't speak until the 1910s. So, like, suck my dick about your heritage. People forget that. Most people in France didn't speak French until very recently. Literally just past living memory at this point. They spoke regional languages and dialects and all sorts. In many places they still sort of do. Le Weekend, exactly, yeah. Another funny. Yeah, everyone go and follow Dylan Burns, who does proper fucking journalism and shit. Unlike the slop I fucking produce. Anyway, right, so yeah, so follow my sports channels and all that shit if you're into that. Actually, even if you're not into that, just go and do it, and even if you never fucking watch a single second of me there, go and do it anyway, because I fucking said so. You can help me out with hitting the follow button, subscribing, do bits messages, super chats, memberships, all of that shit. I've got YouTube, obviously, Blue Sky, TikTok, Instagram, Threads. What else have I forgotten? Discord? No, I said Discord. Anyway, load of bollocks. Right, let's get into it. Right, okay. There is a region in France which used to be part of England, because of the Normans invading, which they spoke original type of English in France until the 1910s. Yeah, I presume you're referring to Normandy. Hence Normans, yeah. In which they spoke their own, yeah, kind of oldie-worldy English shite. Basically, the sticky out bit at the top left, if you're looking at it on a map. The bit that's a sort of closest to Cornwall, I guess. Anyway, yeah, they spoke their own language. And because it's on a peninsula as well, it's geographically quite isolated from the rest of France. So they were able to sort of withstand Frenchification. I suppose it'd be Frankification. Whatever. Yeah, never mind. Right, let's actually get into some fucking content. Brittany, yeah, all that bollocks. Right. Probably a lot of Bretons very annoyed at me there. So, in my own home city of Birmingham, if you want to pronounce it wrong like an American would, the Reform Party, Nigel Farage's shithouse party, have been holding their national conference. Because we are in political conference season. Yay! God, I hate the world. Anyway, it was very nice of him to spend any amount of time actually in the country that he claims to be a patriot for. Because, of course, having had 6 weeks off for the summer recess, Parliament just returned on Monday and he immediately left and went to America to promote his TV show. Naturally. Anyway, his political party were holding their national convention. And you're expecting it to be, like, bad. To be a bad time to have, like, eyes and ears. Because, you know, all of the racism and the sexism and homophobia and transphobia and stuff. And there was plenty of that to go around. But I don't feel like I need to. I don't feel like I need to really go through that with you. I need to just show you a 20-second clip of one of their elected representatives, okay? This being Mayor of Greater Lincolnshire and former Tory National Minister, Dame Andrea Jenkins. And not a dame in like a cool kind of drag queen way. No. Just a dame. Performing her own song called Insomnia.
I'm an insomniac. I'm an insomniac. Staring at the ceiling. Waiting for my phone to switch off. Yes, I'm an insomniac. I'm an insomniac. And all I can hear is the sound of that clock. The sound of that clock. I'm an insomniac.
Not only is she an insomniac, she decided to perform this song, having seemingly had no experience, training, or skill at singing, in a sparkly sequin dress as well. Oh, I can assure you this is not AI, because I watched it live. On the TV, admittedly. But unless the BBC are specifically using pre-recorded AI footage of these people and broadcasting it as if it were live, which I admit I can't disprove, but seems a tad unlikely. That was real. That was real. This, from the political party, which is currently leading in every single poll. And not just a little bit. We're not talking margin of error. We are talking they look like they're going to get a majority if an election were held today. Sorry, apparently it's not a dress, it's a suit, it has different legs. Okay, a sparkly shithouse suit. I don't fucking care what it is. The garment type is irrelevant. It's the fact that it's sparkly as fuck. She thought, what would make me look even more mental is if I came out looking like a goth glitter ball. Could we do that, maybe? Amazing. Fucking incredible. Oh. And of course their big policy is that they want to get rid of the online safety bill. So what did they announce as their big key showy bit? But the introduction of the defection of former Culture, Media and Sport Minister, indeed Secretary of State, the mental as fuck Nadine Dorries, the one who literally would have walked over bare fucking hot coals and broken glass and AIDS-infected shit in order to ride Boris Johnson's dick. They announced that she'd defected to the Tory party and had to the Reform Party and had her speak, even though she, as the minister in charge of the Department for Culture, Media and Sport, literally wrote and passed the online safety bill. It's going super well. Like, I genuinely feel like the other countries need to do an intervention. Or at least a wellness check. Because, like, this isn't normal. None of this is normal or good. But thankfully, it was overshadowed by the government sort of collapsing a little bit, maybe? Just a smidge. Yeah. Ange has gone. Dickhead. Oh, thank you, Tom Isaacs, who said, do you see Bastani whining about anti-white racism? I did not see that, Tom Isaacs. If you have a link to that, I will happily take a look. That sounds mental. Doesn't massively surprise me. He does like to lean into that sort of a thing. Anywho. Also, thank you, Fogel. My Austrian friend. Although you do say Kev is a bot, which is unnecessary. I'm not saying it's not true, I'm just saying it's unnecessary. Thank you for 30 months with Prime. Much love. Anyway. Yes, Angela Rayner, the now, I suppose I should say, former Deputy Prime Minister and former Deputy Leader of the Labour Party, has resigned. You can't post links in the YouTube chat. Well, post it in the either in the Discord or in the what you call it chat. The thingy-majig chat, the Twitch. I've only been on here for fucking 4 years. Jesus Christ. Anyway, right. So she's resigned. Basically, the story was, and I sort of mentioned this the other day when I was on with No Justice, when this story was sort of brewing up. She essentially did a bit of tax dodging, although it might have been inadvertent. I'm loath to give any of them the benefit of the doubt on that. But either way, there was an ethics investigation into this, and the letter came back and said, yeah, she broke the ministerial code. So she resigned. Okay. Now, two main key takeaways from that. Firstly, ha ha ha, fuck her. She happily signed on to the cuts to disability allowance and all the rest of it. She was happy to go along with all the genocide. Couldn't give a fuck. Happy to go along with all the purging of the left that she was supposedly a part of at one point. Absolute nonsense. Secondly, and this is in no way to give her any succor in this time, it's also suspicious and weird and wrong that a working class person, vaguely used to be on the left, kind of, has to resign for something like this. Whereas if it had been in the Tory party, or it had been a posh person, or just a man, it probably wouldn't be a story. If it was a middle-class dude or an upper-class dude from the Tory party, this wouldn't have even made the fucking front pages. It wouldn't be a scandal. It wouldn't be a story. It would just be normal. This was essentially a hit job by the Labour right, yet again, to remove somebody they saw as potentially a threat. That's what took place here. So, is it funny that she's gone? Yeah. Did she deserve to go? Yes. Should she have been sacked? Yes. She wasn't. She resigned. Whatever. Is it also stupid and bad that working class people are treated in the way that she was treated? Yeah, that's also bad. Anyway. That's that. So she resigns. So, Keir Starmer, only just over a year into his government, and only a few days after having said this was a reset, a second phase of his government, has been forced into a major reshuffle. Very, very embarrassing, weakens his position, and as I pointed out the other day, they never really work. It's a thing that people get obsessed about, journalists love, because there's lots of details to pore over, it's good for copy, in the newspapers and such, but it doesn't actually really do anything. Because it's essentially the same policy with the sort of deck chairs on the Titanic being shuffled around. It's the same thing, with a different face saying it. That's it. It doesn't fundamentally change the government. It doesn't fundamentally change the direction or the opinion of the people toward the government. It's very ineffective. But it happened nonetheless. Right. Let's take a look at some of the deets. Obviously, with Angela Rayner going, there had to be a deputy put in place, and they went with, you'll never fucking guess, former Foreign Secretary and, how do I put this? Benjamin Netanyahu's cockwarmer? David Lammy. Yes, the lickspittle cunt himself. Oh, sorry, no, that's Wes Streeting. We'll go on to him. Yes, David Lammy, the pathetic genocide lover himself. The man so devoid of any principle whatsoever that he went from calling Donald Trump a fascist to loving him because Donald Trump bought him 2 dinners. He is honestly the cheapest lay there has ever been. He's become the new Deputy Prime Minister. Albeit that will be a temporary thing because they're going to have to elect a new Deputy Leader of the Labour Party, who will almost certainly become the leader of Deputy Prime Minister when that happens. It's not legally required that that would be the case, but it would be very fucking weird if it didn't. So he goes from being Foreign Secretary to Deputy Prime Minister. Yvette Cooper, the woman, not the soon-to-be prescribed terrorist group, which, so you can say you support Yvette Cooper for now, but not the person, because she's shit. Anyway, she goes from being Home Secretary, the person who prescribed, let's say, a certain group I may have mentioned once or twice on the channel, and how you definitely can't say that you support them. She lost her job, lol, and she's now going to be Foreign Secretary. So she's gone from doing Israel's bidding in domestic policy to doing Israel's bidding in foreign policy. I mean, once you've sold one bit of your soul, what's the rest? Really, yeah. A Birmingham MP who's going to lose her seat at the next election, Shabana Mahmood, goes from being, I think, Justice Secretary to now being Home Secretary. So that means we've got a massive trans bigot, horrible transphobic piece of shit, as the Home Secretary. Cool. Yes, Rachel Reeves stays as Chancellor of the Exchequer. Lucy Powell leaves government completely, which is interesting. Alan Campbell, whoever the fuck that is, becomes the leader of the House of Commons. An interesting one, which will sort of go under the radar, certainly here in England. But Ian Murray, being replaced as the Secretary of State for Scotland, has pissed off a lot of people in Scottish Labour. Because he was, for a long time, the only Scottish MP that Labour had. He was the national voice, if you will, of Scottish Labour during the lean years. And so, and he was quite popular, I think, among Scottish Labour anyway, as the Scottish Secretary, and was a close personal friend of Anas Sarwar, who is a piece of shit, but is the leader of Scottish Labour. And so for him to be removed from position a year out, even though, again, he was a massive lickspittle who would go out and fight Keir Starmer's corner, they've done this without any thinking whatsoever. It's literally like they've just gone, throw the pieces in the air and see where they land. Oh, we'll just get rid of that guy. And you're going to replace him with Douglas Alexander, who, like, I thought he was dead. I was certainly fucking hoping he was dead. Joking. He's not even old or anything, it's just a bad person. He was a minister under fucking Blair, Jesus Christ. Anyway, yes, what else happened? Steve Reid goes from Environment to take up the Housing Secretary position, which could be quite interesting. And Pat McFadden, yes, the barely mobile corpse, the dead-eyed mutant freak boy, Pat McFadden, the wizened cadaver, has been appointed the Secretary of State for Work and Pensions, which is interesting. Yeah. Don't you mean Scottish Labour? I definitely don't mean. No, I don't. But there you go. Anyway, so yeah, everything's just a bit shite, really, which is nice. This won't. I'll just put this out there now. Quick prediction: Labour's polling won't have increased in the slightest in the next couple of weeks. You know why? Because it's the same policies. Literally, Keir Starmer's big plan is to try and pass more benefit cuts that weren't popular even amongst his own MPs, let alone the country. So, you know, there's that. Hang on, there was a link. Someone linked me a thing. Where is it? Nigel was... Oh yeah, well of course Nigel Farage is a fucking tax dodging cunt. Naturally. You'd expect that. What is this? It's a link to the Discord. By the way, everyone go and check out the Discord. Oh, what the fuck? Is Aaron Bastani being a knobhead? Let's have a look. Okay. So we've got this cartoon, which is of people who are these kind of flag shaggy people. We're not far right, we're worried about our kids. Make Epping safe again, etc, etc. And underneath that is a white supremacist skinhead with the fucking, you know, the white pride necklace and all of that. Okay. So it's a pretty on the nose thing. Pretty on the nose. And Aaron Bastani says, this cartoon in the Times is racist against white English people. No, it isn't. No. No. It isn't. Beneath the protesters, a giant bald English ogre with an Odin's cross around his neck, as if the two are coterminous? Is that how you pronounce that word? What the fuck is that? I'll be honest, I think that's a new one on me. Coterminous.
Coterminous.
Fuck.
Coterminous.
Coterminous. Oh, I was close enough. Having the same boundaries or extent in space, time, or mean. So basically, the same. You could have just said the same. Okay. As if the two are the same. Brackets, a white pride symbol, and a flag. See, I don't think that's what it is saying. I don't think it's saying that these two signifiers are the same. It's saying that this sort of person identifies with both. It's saying that a person that would wear that sort of necklace would have that sort of tattoo. And I know that because I know people like that. Not necessarily Nazis who would wear like overt Nazi shit, But, like, right-wing people. Some pretty nasty individuals who have those sorts of tattoos. This is just an accurate depiction of the situation. Now, to be fair, they've definitely not depicted the far-right person as a pretty individual. I mean, you describe them as an ogre. That is true. But, I mean, have you seen them? These far-right types. The hatred ages you. It morphs your face into something very, very ugly. So I don't think this is remotely a bad cartoon. It's very, very strange. Now, I'm tempted to look at the replies, but given that it's fucking... given that it's Twitter, it could be very bad. An equivalent is a cartoon of a British Pakistani wearing a Pakistan cricket top and a suicide vest. Anyone sensible would go steady on. Well, if there were lots of, I don't know, terrorism supporters out there protesting, and you did that, like say if there was, I don't know what would the equivalent be, if there were pro-Islamic State protesters, I don't know what they would be protesting, Britain's existence, pork, I don't know, whatever, right? They're protesting something. Then I think you would be reasonable. Actually, no, Islamic State isn't Pakistan. So I suppose it would be like Al-Qaeda, I guess, to be geographically specific. If there were Pakistani heritage people arguing in favour of Pakistani supremacy, then drawing that cartoon wouldn't be the end of the world, actually. It would be, I think, relatively reasonable. The caricature... What the fuck? The caricature of a National Front hoodlum could equally be a cartoon of Mick Lynch or Bob Crone. Makes you think. No, it doesn't. No, it actually doesn't. It doesn't make me think at all. It's just... Yeah, there are some people who look like that. There are some people who look like that. What can I tell you? I live around them. I know them. I'm fucking related to them. Sean Bickerstaff, just telling it as it is, I suppose. I suppose you think Kremlin has a point too. Not sure that seems like a bit of a stretch. Navarro videos have stopped showing up on my feed. Is this why you're doing this? Quite right, says British Enjoyer. Should we have a look at British Enjoyer and what they enjoy about Britain? Needs reform. Rumours are that Ed Miliband may be for the chop. Okay, he's actually just quite a boring right-winger. It's also classist. The white working class are constantly demonised and maligned. No, it's not. Jesus Christ, it's not the working class, is it? It's this person. It's a fucking fascist. It's not of just a working class person. Just because you're working class doesn't mean you're above criticism. If you're a Nazi, hiding behind other people's genuine concerns to do your racism, fuck you. I don't give a fuck if you're working class. Oh my God, this is embarrassing. Honestly, this is sad, Aaron. This is not cool. Anyway. Kev, I'm classist but only towards rich people. Sames. Hang on a minute. Where are we? This is what I was referring to.
Hello again. We're live from the Glasgow Science Centre talking to all the party leaders north of the border, and joining us in our studio now is the leader of Scottish Labour,
Scottish Labour.
Doug Down.
Oh, she looks absolutely thrilled at that slip of the tongue. Lol. Honestly, you don't want to slip your tongue on a labia. Well, unless you're interested in it. I don't know. It could be. It could be a thing, couldn't it?
Thanks very much for being with us. Studio now is the leader of Scottish Labour, 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 Scottish Labour.
Slop. Let's do slop. It's slop about a serious topic, though, so like I feel like it's not completely self-indulgent. It's not completely self-indulgent to to do. What's this? Hang on. There are two types of bald white men in England. One painting flags and roundabouts on a bank holiday, and the other is doing this. What is this? Honestly, the blackest person there. Just saying. I'd love to see it. Love to see it.
And to react to that interview, I'm joined by Mehdi Hassan, the CEO of Zeteo, and by Jonathan Conricus, the former Lieutenant Colonel and IDF spokesman, now a senior fellow at the Foundation for Defence of Democracies. Mehdi, you were listening there to the former Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett. What was your reaction?
I mean, what's my reaction going to be other than to say more of the same? Just so many lies, demonstrable lies. You challenged them on a few of them. This idea that the war ends tomorrow if the hostages are released has been is a nonsense proposition that a lot of Israeli military officials no longer believe in. The deal is on the table. Hamas has now accepted Netanyahu's terms of a partial release deal, which they didn't want to accept. But the Israelis said that was our idea. And now Israel's own military chief of staff, Piers, is telling Netanyahu, take the deal. If you carry on with this war, it doesn't make the hostages any safe. That's what the Israeli military chief of staff is saying.
Right, but the thing is, the Israeli chief of staff there is making the fundamental core error of thinking that Benjamin Netanyahu gives a fuck about the safety of the hostages. Sorry, sausages. When he doesn't. That's never been remotely a concern for him. In fact, he has actively killed many of them. Himself. In fact, he's probably killed more Israelis than Hamas have. But that doesn't mean that he's wrong in saying that he should take the deal, because any practical, reasonable person knows that this has gone way past the point of any kind of defence. This is not reasonable. None of this is reasonable. I mean, genocide never is, but like, you can't even hide it anymore. You just can't.
We know that time and time again there has been an option to end this war, have a complete hostage release, have a permanent ceasefire, not a temporary one, and yet the Israelis don't want to do it. Netanyahu has made it very clear, if they release the hostages, we're still going into Gaza City. We're still taking this over. As you pointed out, Smotrich and many other ministers have said that it doesn't matter, the hostages are not the priority. Taking back Gaza, destroying Gaza, cleansing Gaza. To quote the Bezalel Smotrich, the finance minister of Israel, that is the goal. So many other lies he mentioned. He talked about a 2-to-1 civilian to combatant ratio. Not true. Israel's own military intelligence database last month, it was leaked, showing that 5 out of every 6 Palestinians they kill are civilians. One of the highest civilian death rates in the modern warfare. You have to go back to Rwanda, Piers, in the 1990s to find a death rate that high for civilians. It's one of the reasons why people are saying this is a genocide. As you said at the start of this segment, the International Association for Genocide Scholars passed a resolution on Monday saying that what Israel is doing in Gaza meets the legal definition of a genocide. Only 1 in 3 Americans doesn't think it's a genocide. The IPC says it's a famine. Famine, genocide. We need to stop the gaslighting.
Jonathan Conrick is welcome back to Uncensored. You know, I don't disagree that Hamas should release all the hostages. Of course they should. Shouldn't have taken them to start with. But I vehemently disagree with Naftali Bennett's framing that that simply ends everything, because nobody seriously believes that is the case for the reasons that Mehdi just articulated.
Yeah, hello, Piers. Good to see you again or hear you. Well, whether you believe it or not is maybe important, but at the end of the day, I very much believe in that as well. And I think that it's very simple to go back to the situation on October the 6th and take stock of the situation then. There were no Israeli soldiers fighting in Gaza, and there was no famine or any of the other falsehoods.
Well, there was. There was an open-air prison. The prison camp. You know, them in the world's largest concentration camp, basically.
That Hamas propagandists are spreading and the other lies that are being told every day in international media. The situation was that we were on our side of the border and Hamas and ordinary Palestinians were
Hamas
on their side of the border. What changed the situation was Hamas's attack on Israel. That is why we find ourselves now fighting almost 2 years of war, almost on 7 fronts, and it's going quite...
Almost on 7 fronts? Do you mean you're attacking other countries as well? Yeah. Yeah.
Good on the other fronts, and I'm sure that many people in the Hamas Qatari camps like Mehdi and others aren't happy with the fact that Israel...
Mehdi. You gotta put phlegm on it. It makes it sound foreign and bad. Hamas and Mehdi.
Stubbornly, annoyingly is able to withstand the international avalanche of pressure, the pressure campaigns by biased and corrupt UN organizations, this and that new institution or whatever scholars that are lending what's left of their credibility to dubious reports done without due...
It honestly, it reminds me of watching the old fucking Russian propaganda shit. Whenever a Russian would be at like the UN, then they'd have to ask questions from journalists and stuff. It would just be this rehearsed patter. It would just be the same denial of everything. It's unthinking, robotic, just nothing. You might as well just not have anyone there. Just have the Israeli press release. Just read that out instead. It would be just as enlightening to talk to. Did you know the UN is a terrorist organisation? Well, naturally, it's Hamas. Would you say Piers has been relatively good on this topic? No, he's been awful, but he has gotten slightly less awful, which is nice.
Process with parts of their participants voting without having any possibility for people who think differently to raise their voice, and then having that report as if it's...
Yeah, very Lavrovian. I did, yes. I saw Francesca Albanese. For those who don't know, what you call it? Jeremy Corbyn has... started his own inquiry into Britain's culpability with Israel's genocide. They've had 2 days of it so far. And this, by the way, hang on, I don't want to make this too slop, but like, we did mention him earlier and what a fucking psyop he is. I did see a BadEmpanada thing, where he... Here we go. I didn't watch all of it because who gives a fuck. But basically, he sort of tries to kind of cancel Jeremy Corbyn for not being sufficiently anti-Zionist enough or some shit. He's a psyop. This guy's a fucking psyop. Because at the same time you release this video, you fucking dopey little cunt. You little fucking Australian dick. Right? Jeremy Corbyn was taking time out that he didn't need to spend putting together this event, where as you may be able to see from the time there, this is the second day, and it went on for 5 hours, and this is the second day of over 5 hours of tribunal. The government denied having an independent inquiry into Britain's complicity in Israel's genocide, so Corbyn took upon himself to do that. He's doing it himself. They've hired out, is it Church Hall, I believe, in London? And you can see they've got a panel of various guests from various places. And they did have, I did watch it earlier, where is she? The UN rapporteur on Gaza. Where is she? Come on, Albanese. She's here somewhere. I can't fucking find her. She's in here somewhere. What? Anyway, regardless, she's in here somewhere, and she had to do it via what do you call it, by a video link, because she's I don't know where the fuck she is in the world, somewhere. Anyway, and yeah, so they're having the inquiry. They're just going to do it themselves, okay? So he is having a tangible effect. Now, don't get me wrong, this isn't going to stop Israel's genocide. But you, BadEmpanada, and the people that would criticise Jeremy Corbyn for his more tactful use of language when interviewed on the street by randos, you know, which is not surprising given that, like, he gets invited by the South African government to go to the fucking ICC and shit. Like, you've got to be a bit more diplomatic. Anyway, whilst you're carping from the sidelines about how what a great, fantastic anti-Zionist you are and having no effect on anything whatsoever, this motherfucker is actively out there putting together the fucking data necessary to hopefully bring prosecutions against British members of the government for their complicity in these crimes. He is trying to do something. Whatever practical thing he can do as a backbencher with no realistic power whatsoever, he's doing as much as he possibly fucking can, a damn sight more than some wanker on YouTube. And I say that as a wanker on YouTube. It's so frustrating. God almighty. Hello, Bunny in the Box. Bunny in the Box, you may be interested. I don't know if you saw, I don't know if you're on my Discord. I've set up my sports channel thing. That's a hint for Wayward Historian to pop the links in the chat. But anyway, yeah, I've got a YouTube and a Twitch that I'm going to be doing football related shit on, and other sports. But tomorrow, specifically, I'll be doing one on the England game. So you should go and follow those channels. Go and subscribe to those channels immediately. Anyway, back to this dickhead.
You know, gospel descend upon people and picked up and parroted in international media. And I'm sure that many people around the world are frustrated with the fact that we are still here. We still intend to defeat our enemies. And yes, I agree, we are not doing it in the swiftest way. And I would have wanted us to have done it swifter and better. I would have wanted all of our hostages to be back. But to be very clear.
Wow, you could have had that deal 18 months ago. And hundreds of thousands of lives ago. Interesting that you didn't take that deal. Almost like the hostages aren't the actual concern here, isn't it?
If Hamas lay down their weapons, and if we get our hostages back and Hamas is dismantled from governing the Gaza Strip, I have absolutely no doubt that the war would end in that instance, and there would be no Israeli claims or ideas or escapades or anything else that you might quote fringe elements in Israeli society. It wouldn't happen. We would go back to minding our own business.
Yeah, but hang on.
Israel minds its own business. Yeah. Like, shut the fuck up, dude. Shut the fuck up. Look at Mehdi's face. Look at his cheeky little grin. Aww. They're gonna kill him. The Israelis, if they get a chance, they're going to kill Mehdi Hassan. He's far too good at this. And they can't take him on argumentatively. But they can kill people. We know that. And they're not above killing foreigners in foreign countries. Technically an act of war to do that. But they've done it many times.
All right,
be
Jonathan,
to live and to prosper in our homeland.
Hang on a second. Fringe members of society do not normally include the finance minister of the government.
Gaslighting.
You know, Smodrich is the current finance minister of the Israeli government. He's not a fringe member of society. US national debt is more than $37 trillion.
Literally go fuck yourself with a rake. You fucking bloated balloon nut.
Present an electorate, democratically elected, but he represent an electorate which is on the extreme sides of Israeli politics. I perhaps shouldn't belittle and call them fringe, but it is an extreme part of Israeli society. But if you look at what other parts, the majority, if you look at what hundreds of thousands of Israelis, left, right, and center, are out demonstrating.
Is there a left? Can someone point me to this Israeli left? I'm not really seeing it. Can someone point me to this fantastic left? Maybe there's a Tel Aviv socialist group or something, I'm not sure. The Labour Friends of Israel. True. So left.
Is saying is, we want our hostages back, we want the war to end, and the moment we get our hostages back, then the war ends. And another very important thing, which of course Mehdi represented very poorly, was that there is no deal for all of the hostages. The current waiting is for Hamas to say, okay, we agree to hand over all of the hostages. Currently, what...
No, to be fair, yeah, there are, obviously, I'm being slightly facetious, there obviously is a left in Israel, and there are some incredibly brave people who are out there protesting, and not just protesting in a, like, we want to do Zionism nicer or something, why? But like, in a, this is fucking evil, let's not do this, sort of why. And of course, like you said, the refuseniks, the people who face enormous consequences, up to and including time in jail for refusing to join the IDF. And God bless them. It's a big fucking step to take, you know. And all power to them.
What we have on the table is 10 live hostages and half of the murdered hostages, and that isn't good enough. We don't want Hamas to have any live hostages that they can have, because that means that the war continues, that means that the suffering will continue.
Oh no, I know 255, I'm just being whimsical.
And that is not what we want.
Okay, Mehdi.
I can't believe that, 23 months into this, I'm still having to come on these shows and fact-check this kind of nonsense propaganda from pro-Israel people. As you pointed out,
in a position
Piers,
to fact-check.
they are on the record. Orit Strouk, they are on... Yeah, I can actually fact-check. Let's give some facts. Bezalel Smotrich has said very clearly the hostages are not the priority.
You're not the representative of
the settlements minister.
No, so it's always the Israeli that starts shouting over somebody else. Mehdi sat back and let him say his piece. He didn't fucking interrupt him. It's always the Israeli, because they can't... Ultimately, they don't like freedom of speech. Because in an actual free exchange of ideas and stuff, they lose. Because what they're doing is, like, indefensible. Completely indefensible. They just have to lie. And so, you can't allow someone unravelling your lies to just speak freely. You have to try and antagonise and undermine the conversation. Talk over them, you know.
Can I speak without being interrupted?
Let him speak, Jonathan. Jonathan, he
had a chance for your propaganda. I didn't interrupt you.
Was quiet.
I will interrupt you for the next 20 minutes.
Jonathan, he allowed you to speak without interruption. Let Mehdi do the same.
Fine.
You can come back in and lie again in a moment. I'll give the facts to the viewers. The finance minister, Bezalel Smotrich, said very clearly that the hostages are not the priority. Ben Gvir has said a similar line. Orit Strouk, the settlements minister, said recently, we have to go into every area, even if the hostages die, even if they're unsafe, we have to do it. They have made that very clear. Gallant, the former defense minister, said Netanyahu was sacrificing the hostages. The hostages' families went to the homes of the Israeli cabinet just 9 days ago. They protested outside the government's homes and said, you are sacrificing our children on the altar of eternal war. Those are the words of the hostages' families, not the former IDF spokesman, Piers, who you've brought on to lie on behalf of the Israeli military. So many lies he told there in that statement that he just gave this long rant. He doesn't want me to speak now, obviously, because the fact checks will hurt him again and again. they have said the hostages are not the priority. And this idea of fringe figures, as you said, Piers, Bezalel Smotrich is the finance minister. He said in May of this year, we are disassembling Gaza. We are turning it into piles of rubble. We are destroying the Gaza Strip. We are there to conquer, cleanse, and remain. Those are the words of Smotrich. By the way, on the same day, Piers, Benjamin Netanyahu, the prime minister...
They're going to fucking kill him, man. They're going to kill him. I swear to... I hope I'm wrong. I desperately hope I'm wrong. But, like, he's too good at this. He's too good at this, and his balls are too big. His game too strong. I genuinely think he's in danger. They can't allow him to keep, like... He can't keep getting away with this. Like, he's fucking immense. He's so good at this.
Put out a tweet saying, Bezalel, you have spoken the truth. You show leadership. So this is the entire government. It's not just the entire government. It's the country. A majority of Israelis say they want Palestinians expelled from the Gaza Strip, according to every poll. This is not a fringe view. This is the Israeli government. This is Israeli society. And for Jonathan to say, I'm in the Hamas camp. Come on, Jonathan, get some new lines. I'm not in the Hamas camp. I've never defended Hamas on this show once. Piers knows that. Although you come on this show to defend an Israeli military you were part of and spokesman for. You were part of an Israeli military that's being investigated at the ICJ for genocide. You're part of an Israeli military that was indicted at the International Criminal Court for war crimes and crimes against humanity. You're part of an Israeli military that the International Association of Genocide Scholars have said is a genocide. You're part of a military. You're part of a military that's being investigated by international courts. You're part of a military.
No, I'm not a hired mouth. I'm not bought and paid for. I'm not shilling for the Israeli government. I'm an independent boy. Come on. It was like, did you see Tim Pool come out and talk about, I mean, I haven't mentioned it because it's just a kind of dumb story, which doesn't surprise me. But the Democrats were like funding people like fucking David Pacman to toe the party line type thing. It was outed by Taylor Lorenz in the fucking media. And it's funny and embarrassing for them, and that's fine, whatever. But Tim Pool came out and said, anyone who takes money in order to say what in order to toe someone else's party line ought to be ought to remain silent forever or something like that. And you're like, motherfucker, you just got outed as a Putin shill. You were getting paid by the fucking Kremlin, mate. I don't know how the fuck you're not even in jail, let alone on the airwaves. What? Fucking hypocritical gobshite, really. Also, I am going to try and swear slightly less on the football channel. Not at all, just in general conversation, it's best to try and avoid that, I think.
Well, I think, okay, hang on. Let me jump in.
No, hold on, I'm finishing my point, Piers.
Jonathan, let him finish and I'll come to you.
You're part of a military that has been investigated for sexual violence and rape against Palestinians. Did that happen on your watch? Did you sign off on what the UN says is sexual and gender-based violence?
Let me ask Jonathan a question. Okay, Jonathan.
A military that bombed a hospital last week, Jonathan.
Okay,
your military bombed a hospital.
Let me ask Jonathan an IDF question.
Bombed a hospital.
Let me ask Jonathan.
Only a sociopath would defend that.
All right, let me ask Jonathan a question, which is, as a former
He's
IDF
fucking good, man.
spokesman, it is reported that behind the closed-door overnight meeting, IDF's Chief of Staff, Major General Ayal Zamir, vehemently opposed a Gaza City takeover, which he has repeatedly warned would endanger the lives of his soldiers and the remaining hostages held by Hamas. That was the Times of Israel reporting that. Are you not concerned as a former IDF man that the guy who's the Chief of Staff of the IDF right now thinks this is a disastrous policy?
Oh, the IDF's gone woke. Oh, the they-them IDF. Unbelievable.
In the making.
Yeah, so...
IDF, more like MTF.
This is the first time in the program that we're actually talking something that's grounded somewhere close to
DEIDF. DEIDF. That also works.
Not all of the nonsense that Mehdi was spewing out.
Mehdi.
And by the way, I'll answer the question, Piers. But by the way, Mehdi,
I quoted
Let him speak,
position.
Mehdi.
Deal
Let
with
him
the
speak.
Smotrich quote.
No, you've been
he didn't let me speak. Deal
misrepresenting,
with the
cherry
Smotrich
picking.
quote.
No, don't talk over each other. Mehdi, let Jonathan
Cherry
respond.
picking anything.
Let him
Smotrich
answer my
said
question.
We
Of
conquer,
course you
cleanse,
have.
and
You've
remain
been
in
cherry
Gaza.
picking.
No, that's the factual quote,
All right, please let him answer my question.
which Netanyahu agreed
All
with.
right, Jonathan, answer my question, please.
I'll answer the question. So, Lieutenant General Eyal Zamir is an excellent officer. He's the chief of staff of the IDF, and he's been leading the IDF with quite significant successes against Hezbollah, against the Iranians, and he is leading the IDF in our war, our very just war against Hamas. I'm very happy that there's a debate and that's an ongoing discussion between the military echelon and the democratically elected echelon in Israel. I'm not so happy that it's out in the open, but I am aware that it's happening. And I would say that what I read of the reported statements, which I have from pretty reliable sources that they're more or less accurate, maybe not really the tone and the intensity, but a lot of it is accurate. What I read is that the military, very correctly, is asking of the government, what is the end state here? And government, please tell me what you intend for things to happen once we actually go in and fight Hamas and kill them in their tunnels and take out the remaining parts of the leadership.
God, you're a fucking minge. Jesus Christ.
And actually get the military part of the job done. And I think that's a very good point made by the IDF, because that is clarity that is needed. And until that is said and stipulated by the government, I think that it's good that the IDF, as a military in a democracy, is telling the
military democracy. That was a good one. That's funny. That's good. Fuck off.
Elected democratic leadership that, well, I will execute the orders that you give me. Here are the
They will execute Palestinians, I'm sure.
consequences, and I wish for you to tell me what the desired strategic end state is. And that's exactly what a military is supposed to do in combat. And I think that now the ball is in the court of the government, where they will have to stipulate clearly and to a certain extent persuade the military and everybody serving.
Well, again, it's been reported.
What exactly the end goal is.
All right, it's been reported again by the Times of Israel that during this 6-hour Israeli Security Cabinet hearing last night, that Netanyahu rejected the general's push to hold a vote over the current ceasefire deal on the table, which could see half of living hostages freed and lay the groundwork for a permanent end to the war. Now, Mehdi, what is also emerging is that there is a belief by Netanyahu that the reason he is being so gung-ho about continuing with this is that President Trump has urged him to finish the war in Gaza with full force.
Yeah, because he's also an evil cunt.
What should we read into that?
That he's an evil cunt. They're both evil cunts.
Yeah, I think we should read into that Donald Trump is 100% behind Netanyahu, as some of us warned he would be. I think there were some people who thought that there would be some daylight between Trump and Netanyahu, that Trump would somehow be better on Gaza than Biden and Harris were. And that's, as I've told you before, Piers, your pal Donald is full on the ethnic cleansing, the ridiculous Gaza Riviera.
Your pal Donald. Wanker.
Plan allegedly involving Tony Blair and Jared Kushner at the White House. Outrageous open plans for ethnic cleansing, all signed off on by Donald Trump, who said earlier this year that Palestinians will have to leave Gaza and not come back, which is the definition of ethnic cleansing. That is what Israel and the American government are planning and cooking up for the people of Gaza. It's why the world has now turned belatedly against Israel and on this genocide, because it's so brazen what they're doing in terms of the man-made famine, in terms of the ethnic cleansing, all of this stuff. And, you know, the hostage canard keeps being put forward. Jonathan said earlier, oh, it's a partial deal. Yeah. That's what the Israelis wanted. The great irony is Hamas wanted a permanent deal, all the hostages for an end to the war. Netanyahu said no, partial deal. Hamas agreed to that too, so they keep moving the goalposts because he doesn't want to end the war, Piers. Matthew Miller, Biden's former State Department spokesman, said recently that when he spoke to Netanyahu last year, Netanyahu said openly, we're going to be fighting for decades in Gaza.
Today's show is brought to you by Oxford Natural.
I've got fucking naturals, mate. What are you talking about? What? The fuck? Oh, no. Anyway, if you're enjoying my naturals, and why wouldn't you? They're beautiful. Ho ho. You can hit the follow button and subscribe and do bits messages and all of that jazz. You can help me out financially on either of the platforms, and even if you're not able to help out financially, you can like the stream and join and all the rest of it. And of course, you can go and check me out on the sports channels. Subscribe to those for free; they're available, etc., etc. Go and do that. Otherwise, I will stab nobody because that would be violence. Can I headbutt Piers? No, Jean-Luc Picard. I'm deliberately mispronouncing it. No, stop! Don't be violent, please. Like, I don't personally give a fuck if you are a violent person. I'd prefer you not be, but whatever. It doesn't really matter to me. But don't like advocate for illegal things in the chat, please.
Logical reasons of his cabinet allies and the military. You know, the Israeli military has now come to its senses, saying this is not helping. This is the same Israeli military that has committed multiple war crimes. I mean, Jonathan talked earlier about, you know, what the purpose of combat is. He said he was a proud IDF man. He's proudly part of a military that last week bombed a hospital not once but twice. A double tap strike, according to CNN, triple tap strike, killing emergency responders, journalists, aid workers in front of our eyes. That is his glorious military. It's an Israeli military which, according to Nick Maynard, Piers, who you know, British doctor, I interviewed him last month, he said he treated Palestinian teenagers in his hospital in Gaza over the summer who were shot in the testicles, multiple children shot in the testicles by Jonathan's military, the same military that killed 15 paramedics in April and then just buried them with their ambulances.
Oh, they were shot by Hamas. Oh, and I'm sure you've got lots of evidence for that. Like, was it also Hamas that did the double tap strike on the hospital? Because that, like, everyone saw that. That was definitely, unless they've somehow managed to cobble together a rather modern and advanced-looking air force. I don't think. I don't think you've got like any real evidence that that was Hamas. I think that was definitely you. You did that. You evil cunt. You've now got a thing in the Discord for announcing sports. Indeed, yes. Thank you for that. Whoever set that up. Much love to you. I will post in there from now on when I'm doing that specific thing.
In the sand. They were buried in the sand by the Israeli military in April. They lied, the Israelis. They said, oh, the lights were off. We didn't know who they were. Hamas were firing. Turned out all to be a lie. You know what the Israelis did, Piers? They fired the deputy commander. That's it. Nobody went to prison. No one was charged. They murdered 15 people. That's the military that Jonathan's come to defend. The most immoral military right now in the world that is bombing hospitals in front of our eyes.
Jonathan?
Yeah, it's, you know, it's various levels of ridiculous. But listen, Mehdi, there's been a job opening. Israel finally got rid of Abu Obaida, a very prolific and well-to-do Hamas.
That's the only response necessary.
Abu Obaida, a very prolific and well-to-do Hamas.
Oh, fuck off. That's all you need. That's all you need.
Really got to get better with your Hamas propaganda. You're a racist,
small man.
genocidal, war criminal.
Man.
You support.
Mind your language. That's the perfect summation of like the fakeness of like respectability politics. Because that man just said they got rid of Abu Obaida, right? So the Israeli government assassinated this person. And he's saying there's a job opening, you should go for that job and get that job so the Israeli government can murder you too. So that's the thing that this ghoulish evil monster said. But because Mehdi Hassan said the fuck word, he said F-U-C-K. He's the bad one. So like you can, as long as you use the nicey words to talk about how much you want to have someone murdered, by your murder government, murderously, but you don't swear. As long as you don't swear, that's fine. But if someone else swears, they're wrong and bad. Cool. Very cool.
Mind your
criminals.
language, little
Well, you're trying to put a target on me? Are you and
Mehdi,
Elon Levy trying to put a
listen.
target on me? Are you trying to put a target on me? You keep
you've
saying I'm
done that
Hamas.
shtick with
They do want to kill him. That's my concern. Yes.
And you
Elon.
support killing Hamas.
You've done it
So
with
do you
Elon,
want to
and it
kill
won't
me?
work with me,
But I wanna
little
know.
Mehdi. Little
If
Mehdi,
your
you've done
argument
that
is
shtick
that
with
any brown
Elon, it
Muslim
doesn't impress
is
me.
Hamas,
But I'm telling
are you
you
trying
is
to put
that
a
if
target
you
on me?
improve
Answer.
your Arabic
Ask the
just a
viewers.
bit,
You keep
if
saying
you
I'm Hamas based
if
on
you
nothing.
improve your Arabic just a bit, I think you
You're a
are
war
well
criminal,
on
Jonathan.
track to become a
Jonathan,
very prolific
you're a war criminal.
spokesperson
Your
for
troops
Hamas
engaged in
after
sexual violence
the
against
demise
Palestinian
of
women.
Abu Ubaidah.
You're being
Because
investigated
you
at the
are-
internet.
This is really enlightening, Piers. I'm definitely getting a lot from rabble. Oh, God. This is slop, Piers, right? This is slop. But at least make it understandable slop. You need to have them... You need to get a pause button. I mean, I presume he's probably not in chat anymore. But Dylan, if you are, get in touch. Get in touch with Piers Morgan. He needs to learn the old trick, okay? He needs to get the old hippy-dippy trick on the go. And every time, if you don't want to shut up, I'll just I'll silence all of you. Okay? I'll mute all of you. Until you all calm down. And then one by one, I'll unmute you and let you talk. But we're not going to have shouting over each other. It's not conducive to good discourse.
National
Just
Criminal Court.
touting
You are
Hamas's
part of an army
propaganda
that
lies.
is committing genocide, Jonathan. That
Mehdi, you are
killed
touting
50, that killed
Hamas's
20
propaganda
people.
lies.
Mehdi, Hamas.
At a
You are
hospital last week.
regurgitating things from
I can condemn
April
Hamas.
and
You
from
can't
September.
condemn the
and you're
genocidal
you're
Israeli
dragging
military.
out
Let me
all
jump
things,
in. Let me
but
jump
you
in.
are
Jonathan,
failing.
let me jump in,
genocidal
please.
Israeli military.
All right,
And
Jon-
now you want to kill every journalist
Jonathan.
that speaks out against you.
Yeah,
You
Jonathan.
killed
No,
5
not at
journalists
all.
last week.
Jonathan,
now you want
on
to kill
that-
me?
Jonathan,
But I think
on-
you would do
You
an
killed 5
excellent
journalists
job
last
at
week,
replacing
Jonathan.
Abu Ubaidah.
Your
I'm
military
sure
killed
Hamas
5
would be
Let
happy
me
to
let me
have you.
ask a
And you're
question,
doing
please.
Jesus Christ. Can you be any more of a bitch, Piers? Can you be any more of a ballless little fucking cuck boy? In the little cuck chair, whilst the 2 big bulls fuck your wife? Piers. Piers. It's your fucking show. Your name is on it. Do anything about this. Can I ask a question, please? Gentlemen, can I ask a question, please? Please.
Great job. And you're doing a great job as Julius Stryker.
All right,
as
let me
radio
ask a
host.
question because nobody can hear.
He dropped a striker on us. Ah.
Replacing Abu
Propagandist.
Ubaidah.
Nobody
in
can hear
history.
either of you.
That's how history will remember you.
Let me
As
ask
a
you, Jonathan.
genocide propaganda.
Piers Morgan unballed. That if he ever goes trans, that would be a great name for his for the kind of following his surgery journey documentary. Telling you.
Propaganda.
Jonathan,
That's how history will
about
remember
the
you.
incident.
waiting for you, Piers.
Jonathan, let me speak. About the incident that Mehdi's alluding
Where's all
to.
the talk about the hospital? 'Cause he has to
I'm just
defend the
about to
killing of
ask him
people at
about the
I
hospital.
can
If you let
talk
me
with
do
the
my
hospital. I've been
let me
on-
do
I've
my
been on
job.
Sky and
Let
CNN
me
and
please
spoken
ask
about
you a question and do my job. So, Jonathan, the incident that Mehdi is alluding to,
Yeah, do your
the
job.
double tap attack on a hospital which killed 5 journalists. This takes the total of journalists to over 200. There are now journalists all over the world who are protesting about this. People from CNN, from Reuters, from AP, from every serious news organization in the world, saying that there is a mini genocide going on with actual journalists in Gaza.
See, that's the only genocide. The only genocide that journalists care about is the mini genocide against journalists. They didn't give a fuck as long as they were just killing Palestinians. Speak no evil, hear no evil, see no evil. All that bollocks, right? But you went too far. You started genociding important people like journalists, and the journalists won't stand for it.
And that the only reason for this, the deliberate systematic attacks on journalists, is because Israel
Why does he call him Mehdi? because he wants them to sound foreign and dangerous. It's the same reason they put phlegm on Hamas. Because you'll see, when they're speaking in a normal flow, they just say Hamas. Because that's how, when you're speaking in English, that's how you just pronounce the word, right? You just say Hamas. Because that's... But to make it sound foreign and terrorism, it's, you know, you go Hamas. Or Mehdi. You make it sound foreign and dangerous and bad.
Israel does not want people reporting on what is actually happening there. I know you agree.
It's very much, yeah, it's the pronunciation version of Barack Hussein Obama. Yeah.
With me, because you said it many times, that Israel should allow the international media in.
Which is why I do the joke of, like, every time they do it, I go Hamas. To further emphasise why they're doing it.
Their jobs, but so far they're not doing that. They're only allowing in certain friendly journalists embedded with the IDF to report what they want them to report. But until there is free, unfettered access of journalists into that region to report on this stuff, there is a belief that Israel is going about now deliberately and systematically killing Palestinian journalists to silence them. What is your response to that?
Yeah, that belief is wrong, and I have a few things to say. First, about the horrible, tragic mistake at Nas.
Oh, it's just a little oopsie doopsie whoopsie poopsie. Oh, a little whoopsie daisy. Oh. Well, that can't be helped. I mean, it does happen quite a lot, though, doesn't it? You do tend to have a lot of mistakes in the IDF. You think you'd train your soldiers better, really. It's almost as if it's a deliberate thing that you're doing on purpose and not a mistake. But that would be cynical madness, of course. No. Of course it's a mistake.
Hospital. That is not what I envision in terms of Israeli operations. That is a tactical mistake by forces on the ground that saw a camera on top of a building, assessed that the camera was operated by Hamas because
Hamas camera. So you bombed a hospital. Let me get this right. You bombed a hospital because of a Hamas camera. A Hamasra, if you will. A Hamas? A Hamaras? Doesn't really work, Kev. It doesn't work. Move on. Yeah, you bombed a hospital because of a camera. Like, even if your story were true, which, just to be absolutely clear, it isn't, you're lying, you lying evil cunt. But even if it were true, it would still be a war crime. You're still doing war crimes. Even your cover story is a war crime. I mean, honestly, the ICJ don't really need to look that much further, I don't think. I think it's pretty obvious. When even your defence is, we did a smaller war crime in the war crime you think we did, then I think you might be guilty of war crimes.
Hamas had...
Like, I'd call it a self-report, but it seems even more obvious than that. There's no subtext to it.
Has been operating cameras from all civilian buildings, including from hospitals, in order to monitor the...
You see, hang on. Whoa, hang on. Listen to how he pronounces Hamas.
The camera was operated by Hamas because Hamas has been operating cameras from all civilian buildings, including from hospitals.
Hamas. That's what they do. Whoa, just knocked that over. That's not ideal. There we go. Hamas.
Hospitals, in order to monitor the troop movement of Israeli troops and then to detonate IEDs or other...
But thankfully, the Israeli government don't have to operate their own cameras because the British government's doing it for them. The British government's sending spy planes to do that for them, so they don't have to have IDF cameras or anything. Yeah, the British taxpayer's taking care of that.
Otherwise, to direct combat activity against Israeli troops. And that
See you
is
later,
why
Jean-Luc.
when Israeli troops saw that camera and other activity on top of that building, they engaged. Regretfully, 5 journalists, some of them working for international media.
Okay, what about the other 200 that got killed? Were they literally all mistakes? What about the ones you killed before October the 7th? What about the journalists you killed whose funeral you then attacked and forced the pallbearers to drop the person's corpse inside the coffin on the floor, thus disrespecting even the final resting motions of the person you murdered and admitted to murdering? This isn't a new thing. This was happening long before October the 7th. Because, believe it or not, there was history that happened before even that day. I know. It's crazy. You wouldn't think so to listen to all of Western fucking media, but there were things that happened in that region before October the 7th, 2023. I promise you they did. I remember it. And it's not false memory syndrome. Things actually happened. And they largely involve Israel still already doing genocide. Before then, I know, crazy, right?
Outlets were killed. That is not a desired outcome. That is a mistake, and that should not happen on the battlefield. Full stop.
Keeps happening quite a lot, though, doesn't it, mate? As indeed does supposedly fantastic, awesome, wonderful super patriots, the Reform Party, having all of their merchandise made in China. Just very Trump, isn't it? Made in China. Made in China. Oh, what, can you believe it? Made in China. Really supporting British workers there. Thanks. Cunt.
6 terrorists were also killed in that attack. When I spoke with
well, as you call everyone a terrorist, it doesn't really matter that you think 6 of them were terrorists. I'm sure you're counting the 5 fucking people as terrorists as well, you know?
Hamas known operatives were killed. When I spoke with people in the IDF, my questions were actually about the second.
Also, if you've been going at it for 2 years, how are there continuing to be so many Hamas operatives? Can I just ask that? Because I thought you said that Hamas were dead, that you defeated them. Turns out you haven't, doesn't it?
Strike which we saw live on an Arabic network, which I agree looks horrible, should not happen, and is something that I'm waiting for the IDF to investigate and
to investigate themselves and to find themselves to have been innocent again, because that's obviously all they ever do. No one buys this. Why do they put wankers like this up? Like, it doesn't work. People know your narratives and they know it's shit. Oh, I'll just wait for the murderer to pronounce themselves innocent of murder, and therefore it's fine, they didn't do the murder. The fact that they're covered in the blood and it's literally on film them murdering the person, and they said, I'm glad I killed the bastard afterwards. Like, that, it's irrelevant. The murderer said he didn't do it, so there you go. I suppose he just didn't do it. Ooh.
Present findings and to say this is why the mistake happened and these are the steps that we have taken in order to rectify it. And I believe that the IDF will do that. And I believe that this is not what the IDF was seeking to achieve, because it was very clearly aid workers and others that were trying to rescue people that were wounded from the first engagement. So this was not intentional. This was a...
Well, as the IDF say, if the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit. Except that O.J. Simpson was less guilty. And he was very guilty.
Battlefield mistake in a chaotic or very difficult combat environment of troops that are under fire from civilian buildings where the enemy uses hospitals and schools and mosques and houses in order to fire from. This is the reality in Gaza made by Hamas, which we many times gloss over. No, as I said, they were from that. But first of all, Hamas has fired from the Nasser hospital several times in the past, and Hamas has been using cameras from various buildings.
So hang on, if they've been shooting from that building, and you've been at war for over 2 years, why haven't you bombed that building before? Like, if you were prepared to bomb them because they were taking pictures from that building, why have you allowed them to shoot live ammunition at your troops from that building without any response up until last week? I think you might be lying. I think you might be lying again there. I think you might be have just been caught out in yet another very, very obvious lie.
Mosques, schools, and hospitals in Khan Yunis, in Gaza, in Rafah, in all of the Palestinian villages and cities, and that is why the IDF thought that the cameras that they saw were linked to Hamas. But I'm saying it very clearly, that was not the intended outcome.
Mehdi?
Can I respond, Piers?
Yeah.
So on this hospital attack, let's just be very clear here, because so much gaslighting going on here. First of all, I'm old enough to remember October 2023 when the world went mad to suggest that Israel would ever attack a hospital. We were told for months Israel would never attack a hospital. Now they proudly attack a hospital and try and justify it with nonsense justifications. We attacked it because there was a Hamas camera on the roof. First of all, it wasn't a Hamas camera, it was a Reuters camera. Reuters already gave the Israeli military their positions. There were no Hamas cameras on the roof. It's a ridiculous new phase of Israeli propaganda to say it was a Hamas camera justified killing 20 people, which was insane. Okay, let me speak. If you stop interrupting, then I'll deal with that lie. You already said it. You said there was
Let Mehdi respond,
No,
please.
you're lying.
Hamas terrorists.
Let Mehdi
You're
respond.
lying. I never
Let
get
Mehdi
through a single
respond,
answer on
please.
this show.
See, they can't just let him speak. Because he's dismantling the narrative very easily.
Oh.
Let Mehdi respond.
6 Hamas operatives were not killed. You claim they were killed. No evidence has been provided to the international media that there were 6 Hamas operatives there. In fact, the 6 photos that were released here, 2 of them were killed the day before. One of them was a well-known local firefighter who Israel had already dealt with. They were not 6 Hamas operatives who were killed in that strike. As for it being a mistake, how can it be a mistake, Piers, when it was a double? Can you shut up so I can finish a sentence?
It doesn't make it true.
Piers, am I going to get to speak on this show?
Jonathan,
Or are you just going to
let
let
you
one
speak.
person
Let
speak
him
all the
speak.
time?
But I mean, if you're going to lie and you're going to expect me
Well,
to
you
sit
both
here and
accuse
listen
each
to
other of
lies
lying all the
without
time. So let
defending your lies,
Let
Jonathan,
Mehdi
you can't handle
respond,
it.
then you can
And the
respond
world
back.
can see that Jonathan, we're on Piers Morgan. I get to speak. We're not in Gaza. You don't get to kill me as a journalist. I get to speak here.
Oh, Mehdi, Hassan, you cheeky minx. Honestly, protect this man at all costs. What a fucking legend.
And point out that the journalists were killed in a double tap strike. There's no way you can call that a mistake.
The only thing you do in life
he
is
can't
speak.
shut up, can he, Piers?
The only
world
thing
can
you
see.
do in life
He
is
cannot shut
lie
up.
and take money from the
I'm going to keep
Qataris
speaking
and
and make my point. Like
slander
I said.
Israel.
All right, let me know, Piers, when I can speak.
Jonathan, please let him respond.
Because he won't shut up. I need to be able to make a point.
No one can
6
understand
people
you when
were
you
not-
talk
6
over
Hamas
each other.
operatives were not killed.
Mehdi, finish your point.
6 Hamas operatives were not killed. 6 Hamas, I barely started it. 6 Hamas operatives were not killed. Israel claims they were killed. It's been debunked. 20 people were killed, including 5 journalists. It couldn't have been a tragic mistake, as Jonathan claims, because it was a double tap strike. The Israeli media have reported that the Israeli military did it deliberately. In Israel, in Hebrew, they're not saying it was accident. They said it was a coordinated attack. A double tap strike. How do you explain a second strike 9 minutes later? There is no mistake. It's what Boko Haram, ISIS, Al Qaeda do. It's deliberately to kill emergency responders. 972, an Israeli media organization, says it is now standard procedure for the Israeli military to do double tap strikes. Last summer in Mawasi, the New York Times has video of the Israelis doing a double tap strike on Palestinian paramedics. You know what Israel said at the time, Piers? We will investigate this incident. Guess what? A year later, no investigation. No one was charged. No one was punished. They always say this to gullible interviewers in the West. Well, we're investigating this mistake. Not a single Israeli soldier has gone to prison for killing anyone in Gaza since October 2023. You'll remember, Piers, I said that to Alan Dershowitz on your show. I remain to be fact-checked. It is true. Nobody went...
Yeah, but to be fair, Alan Dershowitz has been mainly busy trying to get a fucking sandwich anywhere in the town he lives. No one will serve him. Like, that man is wasting away The man, he just wants some fucking bread and filling. Can a man not have some sustenance in this place? I love it. I love that this little town in Massachusetts is just trolling the fuck out of him through sandwiches.
To prison for killing 15 paramedics in April. Nobody went to
Absolutely
prison
beautiful.
for the Mawasi double attack last summer. No one will go to prison for killing 20 people in this hospital. Jonathan and his military
Hello,
love to
left
do
of the
war
box.
crimes,
Everyone
and
go
no
and
one
follow-
holds them to account.
Jonathan?
Literally true. Hello, left of the box, not left in the box. That would be an entirely different thing. Left of the box. Everyone go and follow them immediately. Otherwise, I will strike down upon you with furious vengeance, and you will know I am the Lord. I'm just quoting not Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction. And that's not because what's his face? Oh fuck! I don't care anymore. I've lost the will to live.
Nonsense. Israeli officers have been
Hell, who's
removed
gone to
from their
prison?
positions.
Jonathan, who's gone to prison? Who's gone to prison?
Israeli
You said
soldiers,
nonsense, Jonathan. Who's gone to
yes,
prison? I was
yes.
right.
I said
You're wrong.
nonsense, which is
Name the
everything that
person.
comes from your mouth is either
Name
Hamas
the person who's
propaganda
gone
or
to prison.
nonsense
Let
or
him
both.
answer.
And
Name
yes,
the person who's gone to prison.
And yes, and
He's
yes,
not answering.
and
Name
yes,
the person who's gone to
IDF
prison. You and Alan
soldiers-
Dershowitz
I
cannot
can't
name
understand.
Just Mr. IDF soldier. That's his name. That's the man's name is IDF. It's a traditional Hebrew name. IDF soldier. He went to prison. Yep. Mr. Private Corporal Major Stein went to prison as well for bad things. Trust me, bro. Live stream later tonight to talk about Canada's Queen being arrested. What? I mean, Canada doesn't have a queen. She died. Can we get some lols in chat for Canada's Queen dying? I mean, technically it's the Queen of here as well. She died. It was very funny. They had a queue like basically all around London to go and see her corpse, except it wasn't even that. It was just a box, presumably with her body in it, but who knows? Like, honestly, they said she was lying in state or whatever, but like, did anyone check? Like, they didn't have like a viewing panel that you could walk that, and like part of the side of the coffin was like transparent, so you could see. Like, that could just be an empty box. She's in the fucking freezer at the morgue, you know? Or she's gone back to her home planet. The fucking alien lizard bitch has taken off her human suit and has flown back to fucking whatever planet the weird aliens that run us. Well, no, that's the thing. They don't die, but they realise that it's absurd if they're like 200 years old, because then no one actually believes they're people. So they get to like an old age, and then they have to pretend to die, and then they can either get into a different human suit and adopt a different persona, or they have to go back to their planet and be replaced. You know, it's a kind of retirement thing, I think. I don't know how many tours of duty they have to do. It's an extensive social system they've got going on, the lizards.
What are you saying?
Israeli
Let me
soldier
hear
who has gone to prison.
Mehdi,
Let me hear him what he has to say.
IDF soldiers, yes, IDF soldiers have been disciplined and sent to military prison.
Oh, a sovereign citizen queen. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fair enough. It's interesting that a sovereign citizen would be called the queen. Don't they like sort of tend to not like authority very much? You know, if a queen has a fringe, a yellow fringe cord around the edges, it's actually just an admiralty queen, and so you don't have to take them very seriously unless you're at sea, and then they're in charge.
For misconduct, and there are
Not
still
a single
open investigations.
not a single
by
Israeli
the
soldier,
military
Piers,
advocate
has
general.
gone to prison
Yes,
for killing
there
a
are still
Palestinian
open
since October
investigations
2023.
by the
Not
military
one.
advocate general about
None.
yes, they have. I don't remember the name, but I know
You're lying.
of several
Anyone can
Israeli
Google it right
soldiers.
now.
No, I'm
Jonathan
not.
Conricus is
No,
lying
no,
to you.
You can Google.
In April, 15
Mehdi,
Palestinians
you can
were
say
killed.
whatever you want. You can
Paramedics.
continue
No one went to prison.
to make
It's a
up
fact.
half
Google
truths
it. Sky News has the story.
and
Sky
sprinkle
News has the
lies
story.
as much
We're
as
on
you
YouTube,
want.
Jonathan.
I know
People
for
can
a fact.
Google that you're lying
I know
right
for
now.
a fact that Israeli soldiers
Sky News
have been
investigation.
disciplined.
April
even
2025.
sent-
15 paramedics
even
killed.
sent-
Not a
Mehdi, for
single
someone who
soldier was
complains
charged.
about being
Mehdi,
interrupted.
He's honestly, Mehdi, if you need me to do illegal things for you, I will. I'm just going to say it. I will do very illegal things for you. Like crazy illegal. Because you're worth it, brother. You're worth it. Mehdi. That's love.
Mehdi, you don't like it when he interrupts you, Mehdi. Let him
yes,
speak.
I am interrupting Jonathan.
Yeah,
I
but
am
let him
interrupting
speak. You don't like it when he does it.
You
So I'm
sure
going to
interrupt
fact
a
check
lot.
your lies. That's
All right.
how it works, Jonathan. That's how it works,
Mehdi, you're not
Jonathan.
in a
You don't get
position
run
to
your
fact
mouth here
check
and kill
anything.
journalists here.
You're a mouth for hire.
not-
You're a
I am-
paid
I'm not
propagandist. Who are you to
fact-checking you.
fact check
The
anything?
viewers-
You're literally an IDF spokesperson. Who the fuck are you to talk about being a paid fucking talking head? That's literally what you do.
are fact checking.
You are a
The
mouth
viewers are
for
fact checking
hire
you.
with
Go
no
on Sky
moral
News right
tethering
now.
in the world.
Go
you
on
are a
Sky
mouthpiece
News.
for Hamas
Go on
and for
Sky
Qatari
News
money.
website right
Who are
now.
you to fact check anybody?
April 2025.
Mehdi, you are a paid
April
mouth.
2025.
You're a
Sky
paid
News did the
mouth in a
investigation.
suit.
April
Who are you to
2025.
fact check anybody?
April
Who are you to
2025,
fact
Jonathan.
check? You have no legal
April
standing. You have no
2025,
moral
Jonathan, killed
standing.
15
You have no
paramedics.
factual standing, Mehdi.
April
The last
2025.
time you
Google it.
visited anywhere
Guys at home,
near a
Google
war
April
zone was
2025.
maybe 20 years
I'm
ago.
not
You realise
Palestinian
nobody
Jews
can
in Gaza,
understand the
Jonathan.
word you
Can't
guys
just
are
shoot
saying,
me.
right?
I
I mean, you
get to
do
speak.
realise that.
Who are you to fact
Well,
check,
they can
Mehdi?
see
You
you.
are a
Do you
paid
realise when you
propagandist.
both...
Piers, like, honest to God, this is fucking tragic. You need a mute button. It's not really a very complicated medical, you can, technological, like, thing. You can do it very simply. Just, you mute one or both of them until you need them to be able to be heard. It's funnier if they carry on talking when they're muted. That's the funniest one. When you can still see them ranting like fuck, going mental, and it's silent. It's fantastic. It's like they're in a fucking vacuum. It's wonderful. And you unmute them, and they're halfway through and saying like, I'm gonna fuck your dad and stab your dog to death. Fuck you, you piece of shit. Mute. And they're still going, you know?
both talk at the
Nothing
same
more.
time, nobody can hear either of you. You realise that, right? I mean, we all
Piers,
understand.
You should have got him to stop
Everybody
interrupting for the
understands that
entire
when
show
you
then,
both talk
shouldn't
at
you?
once, nobody hears you. So I don't understand why you can't just take
Well,
it
you
in
can
turns.
both sides it, Piers, as
You both
want.
both find
But
the
you know
others
very clearly that
interrupting.
Jonathan spent the
Well, you
entire
both hate the other one
segment
interrupting you, then you both
know
do it
that, Piers.
yourselves. Why don't you
And
try
Piers,
and
who did all
practice
the
what you
interrupting
preach,
for the
the
first
pair
half
of
of the
you?
show? Be honest.
Huh?
To be fair, it was look. He was definitely the Israeli guy that started that show.
Piers, who did all the interrupting for the first half of the
Piers,
show? Be honest.
is
Everyone
there
will
a
I think if we
question?
actually
Are
add
we
up
going
now
to
the
listen
number of
to the Qatari
interruptions, Mehdi,
mouthpiece?
you're right up there with Jonathan.
Now, you don't get to start at the end. Well, you don't start at the end, Piers. I'm reacting,
even more
remember?
than that, Mehdi.
Merci.
No, you're not reacting. You're instigating, and you are a
You just
mouth
want to
that
silence
is
me,
being paid
like you
by
silence every
various
journalist
sources.
in Gaza. You kill journalists to silence them. You can't handle people.
represent
You can't handle the
nothing.
fact
You
you can't
represent
kill me.
Sharia. You represent
I know you want
a
to.
hatred.
You represent Sharia. Wow, we're going old school. Say he wants to build a mosque at Ground Zero. Got say that. Let's go real crazy old school with it. Say he's in league with Saddam Hussein. Go on, go on. It'd be fucking hilarious.
Of Western society.
Jonathan,
There
let
you
me
go.
ask you a question.
You hate Western
Yes, I
society.
am Western. You.
Hang on. Whoa, my man. What are you talking about Western society? I thought you were natives to the Levant. I was told you were Asians. Yeah? I was told that you were natives to the Near East, as it were. But now you're Western. Intriguing. Just because you get to play in the European football doesn't mean you're actually Europe. You do know that, right? Which, by the way, I'll be on the football thing. I won't be explicitly doing like politics all the time or whatever, but I will occasionally need to reference certain political matters. And I suspect fuck Israel might be one of them quite regularly. Because you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how much support notions like fuck Israel get from football fans. Because, like, you don't have to be that political to know that blowing babies up and, like, hospitals and shit, that's not on. That's not okay.
All right, let me ask you a question, Jonathan. Let me ask you a question, Jonathan.
I am Western.
Let me ask Jonathan a question, please. Let me ask a question, please. Please.
Did he call him a piece of shit? Hang on.
Let me ask you a question, Jonathan.
He did. He called him a racist piece of shit. Love it. Villa have to play Tel Aviv. I know. Like, as if UEFA being such shitheads have put me in the situation now where, for the first time I think in my entire life, there is a game that I don't want Aston Villa to lose. And that doesn't feel good for me. I mean, I would be happy most weekends for an asteroid to destroy Villa Park. But when they're playing Hapoel Tel Aviv, I can't say I'll support them. But, like, if they win, I won't be unhappy. And that makes me want to kill myself. In Minecraft. Not in real life, obviously. That would be terrible and illegal and bad and wrong.
Let me ask you a question, Jonathan.
I am Western.
Let me ask Jonathan a question, please. Let me ask a question, please. Please. Otherwise, I'll just stop it. It's pointless.
Yeah.
Jonathan.
What a waste of time.
Jonathan, I want to ask you a question, Jonathan.
I thought I was coming on to debate John Spencer.
I'm listening.
Not this ridiculous war criminal.
Yeah, you're ridiculous, Mehdi. A small man far away from action who represents nothing.
Oh, you're a small man. Your dick is smaller. Shut up.
Not a war criminal. You're the one who's in a military that's being investigated by the International Criminal Court and the International Court of Justice.
Okay.
A former member
You're part
of
of
a
a
military that
that's being
actually stands for
investigated
something
at
and
the
defends something.
ICJ and the ICC.
Not just a mouth for hire.
You were a Julian.
Oh yeah, they'll find out if the Hapoel fans turn up. Is it Villa are at home, aren't they, for that game? If the Israelis turn up thinking they can kick off like they did in Amsterdam, like if they think that was a fucking pogrom, Jesus Christ, there's gonna be real fucking trouble. I could see people getting fucking done in. You don't turn up in Brum like that. You just fucking don't. If they turn up and they're all like, chill, okay. Fair enough, go to the game, go home. No, I don't give a fuck. But if you start fucking chanting about death to Arabs and shit, you're gonna get fucking cut.
A striker,
Not just a
propagandist for
mouth
the
for
Israeli
hire
military
that's
lying
paid
about
by
every
I don't know
war crime
whom
that was
to
committed.
slander Israel.
I'm gonna leave it there.
And I'm not saying, by the way, I'm not saying I'm going to be involved in any of that. That wasn't a threat. I'm saying, like, I know the city and I know that area, and that's not going to be tolerated. I know for a fucking fact that wouldn't be tolerated. Pulling down Palestinian flags and shit, you're going to get fucking done in.
And you can carry on talking to each other. It's a bit pointless because no one can understand a word you're saying. I'm very glad you both set the right tone for not interrupting each other.
You should have moderated better, Piers.
But it's a shame.
True.
Actually, it was an interesting debate.
Well, you should have moderated better at the beginning, Piers, because I don't like being interrupted.
I'm sure the viewers will conclude that I'm the problem here. I'm sure they will.
I concluded that years ago. Piers, yeah.
But thank you both.
Will in the first half, Piers,
I'm sure the viewers will conclude that the endless interruptions by both of you is my fault.
Well, every time I come on this show, I get interrupted by Dershowitz,
Yeah, but you then keep interrupting them as well.
Maybe because you're so full of it, Mehdi.
That's what
Maybe
happens,
because
Piers.
the lies that you say are so full of it.
Warfare. That's exactly
maybe
what
because
happens.
you're so
I'm not
full
gonna,
of
I'm not
it
gonna play
that
by one set of
even
rules
people that
where he
normally
gets
are
to
very
interrupt
civilized
me.
hear you tell lie after lie and have to respond to it because you
Civilized?
lie
You're part of a
constantly
military
lie.
that rapes
You open
Palestinian
your
women.
mouth
Okay,
and
well,
you lie.
welcome back
And you're
to the
the last
viewers.
person on
It's
earth
been
to
a
defend
nice
you.
summer, and now we're
Palestinian
back
men
to
and women.
this. All right.
And
Thank you both very much. I
Piers,
appreciate it.
my invitation still stands, by the way, Piers. If we're still on, my invitation still stands for you to come to
Yeah,
to
but I have no.
Gaza.
Here's
More
the
than happy
point,
to
Jonathan.
make
I have
that
no
happen.
interest in being led by the IDF to what you guys want me to see. My only interest.
And also, let's be honest, he's a massive pussy and knows that they kill journalists. Why would a journalist go to the place where they get targeted? Yeah. What's this? Oh, so this is a nice one to end on. Boom. I found a picture of Rusty's first ever walk. Salutes in chat, everybody. Rusty on display. Absolute legend. Boom. They're pretty Zionist. Yeah, I mean, I think most Israeli football teams are pretty Zionist, aren't they? Unfortunately. Was it Kiryat Shimona or whatever the fuck they're called? They're like the worst. Didn't they literally have a riot because they tried to sign 2 Arab guys, even though they were like local Arabs? Yeah, mad shit. Fucking mad. Anyway. Yes. So, I'm done. I am done for this very evening. And now it looks like you're all saluting I wouldn't bum a swan, which I suppose is fine. More or less Zionist than German clubs. Well, to be fair, German clubs are more sort of passively Zionist. They don't go around singing about like death to Arabs and stuff like that, you know. Whereas unfortunately, a lot of Israeli clubs do, which is not ideal. Anyway, so the plan of attack for tomorrow. Everyone, go and check out the sports channels, okay? There's nothing on them yet, but go and hit the follow and subscribe and all that bollocks. I don't think you can give me money on either of those yet because they're like brand new, but it doesn't matter. I'm not even doing it for that. Go and check them out. Helps in the algorithm and stuff. And tomorrow I'll be on. I'll probably go on at some point in the afternoon to like test it to make sure it actually fucking works. Because I've set up what it'll look like, and it looks quite nice. I have to say, I've been quite happy with how it's turned out. Anyway, it's a very different setup to this one. Basically, it looks different because it has to. Because I'm not showing video, so the screen has to be different, right? Yeah, I'll probably do just a brief kind of like, oh, let's test everything out, see if it actually fucking works, see if the stream key and all that shit works. And then assuming that does, then I'll be on normal, like doing it properly at 4 PM UK time, which will be, what's that, 11 AM on the east coast of Americana land, or 5 PM in Central Europe, and you'll have to check out your own time zones accordingly. And I'll be on with the England-Andorra game, and probably some reaction to other games that have happened and are going to happen. Yeah, should be hopefully a bit of fun. Very different type of thing, but if you're into that, check me out. Yes. No raid? Question mark. What do you mean? No raid what? I haven't gone anywhere yet. But I was just literally about to raid. I was just explaining what I'm going to be up to tomorrow. Well, no, why would I store? And you don't have to, because I'm going to be doing more streams than I do normally. So you don't have to be there for the sports ones as well. I mean, you can be. I'm not trying to say you shouldn't, but like, you don't fucking stress yourself about that bollocks. Who is going? I send you over to the Vanguard. I don't know what they're up to, but go and check them out. And who is going on Twitch? Pardon me. Cosmopolitics is going, so I'll send you over there. Go and check them out. And I know they've been having some financial issues, so if you can be generous with them, please do. Yes, I will see you all tomorrow, either on the sports channel or hopefully I'll do a politics thing afterwards, so I'm not too knackered. Which I don't think I will be. Football's very easy to talk about. Yeah. It's goodbye from me. Free Palestine. No pass around.